Family, it's your man Mark Black. So, yeah, I started a little early, but what the hell is my channel? I do what I want. By the way, if you're listening and you can hear me, I know I've been having issues making sure that the audio and everything is right. So, if you want to go ahead and just pop a one or something in the chat to let me know you can hear me. My last video, first few minutes, there was some issues with the audio, and I want to make sure that that's not the case. So, anybody watching, can you hear me? Can you hear me clearly? Is everything okay? Just pop a one or something in the chat. Let me know if you can hear me clearly. Anybody? Up. Yep, I checked it myself. I'm not even worried about it. I checked it myself. It's all good. All right, family. Hey, again, peace to everybody. It's your man Mark Black. Couple things before we get started. First of all, I want to give a shout out to Miss Denny, right, who gave me the idea for today's broadcast topic, right. I'll be perfectly honest with you. Not 100%. You know, I didn't want to address this 100%. I mean, to be honest, I don't even like to talk about topics such as this because, first of all, I think they're pretty inane. I think they're really easy to kind of break down. But at the same token, though, I do realize that this is something that I think, should be actually addressed from a different perspective, right? And since I try to be the master bringing shit to everybody from a different perspective, I'm really glad she gave me the idea, right? So thank you to Ms. Deanie for the broadcast idea. Secondly, before we get into it, just want to say that you guys are rock stars. Those of you who have been watching me, sharing my videos, my new subscribers, everybody hitting thumbs up on those videos, I can definitely see it, right? And so I really want to say thank you. You guys are definitely putting in work, and I definitely appreciate it, right? So please make sure you continue to do that because remember, likes, share, and subscribes are free. Don't cost you anything. However, if you listen to a brother and you feel like throwing a bit of extra cash his way, sort of as a tip for some good work or something you heard that was positive, there's a link to do that. Also, too, family, I do have some long-term projects that I kind of would like to bring to the fore. This is something that I can't do by myself, be honest, right? You know what I'm saying? So what I would like is for people who believe in what it is that I'm looking to do and want to support a brother more long term to go ahead and take a visit to my Patreon. Again, all of my content that's on this channel will be available either here on the channel as well as on Patreon. And there's also going to be content that's only available on Patreon for you people that work to support me, that show the love. I'm going to make sure I have things there for you, solely for you, right? So you can get the benefit of some of the more deeper stuff that I want to talk about or some of the more in-depth things that I want to talk about. That's going to be an option for you there as well, all right? So without further ado, the title of today's broadcast is going to be a controversial one, but I don't give a damn. The title is Pick Me Means Pick Me Too, all right? And the reason why I titled the broadcast this is essentially after kind of looking at this thing from a logical and psychological standpoint of view, I think I've got a pretty good damn bead on what this whole idea behind the pick me thing is, right? So that's why I'm saying pick me means pick me too. But I'm going to spend the rest of the time that I'm on this broadcast elaborating upon that, right? Because remember I told you, family, that behind every utterance, every action, there's a series of ideas, of premises, right, that a person works from to arrive at a conclusion, right, at a choice to act or a choice to espouse a certain idea and so on and so forth. So I wanted to take a look at the ideas that lie behind the whole pick me thing, right? And let me be clear from the outset. I do not believe that there is such a woman called a pick me. I know that there have been women who have been labeled as such, but I do not believe that there is a such thing as a woman who is a pick me, right? Because one thing that we fail to understand when we're discussing this type of thing is that the whole concept of pick me is not an idea or a label that's applied by the people that are allegedly practicing these behaviors or hold these ideas. It's an appellation, right? It's a pejorative that's applied to them externally, right? There's no women out here right now, today, anywhere, no black woman anywhere who is calling herself a pick me. This is a term that has been thrust upon her. This is a description or an attempt to describe her. It's a pejorative, an appellation that has been applied to her. And we need to make sure that we differentiate between what a woman who is practicing certain behaviors or holds to a certain idea, understanding, ideology, as opposed to the appellation or the title that which she's called. Okay, so that's the first thing to note, is that pick me. There's no woman out here who's a pick me. There's no woman out here saying I'm a pick me. No, that's being applied to her by someone else. Okay, and the idea of pick me that is being applied to these sisters out here, this external appellation that's being applied to them, is because they're the holders of certain ethics, the practitioners of certain behaviors, right? And we'll get into those behaviors, right? Some of the behaviors that allegedly make a woman a pick me, according to these proponents of the concept of a pick me, are behaviors like cooking and cleaning for a man, working on your appearance to be more attractive to men, holding on to ideas of respect and submission and kindness and compassion to a man, and so on and so forth, right? Women who tailor their approach to their brothers with these types of behaviors, holding these types of ethics, have had the pejorative pick me placed upon them by certain individuals amongst the females of our group, right? Because believe it or not, I've done some research, right? I've tried to click various links and look at different things. I've never once seen a black man apply this appellation to a black woman. I have never seen a black man call a black woman a pick me. I've only seen this being expressed by sisters, and I find that extremely suggestive. I do. I find that extremely suggestive, that you won't find any men who are saying, oh, that bitch right there is a pick me. No. The only people you see applying this appellation to anyone are black women applying it to other black women. Extremely suspicious and suggestive of something else going on. But we'll get into it. All right? As far as I've been able to tell, the women who practice these behaviors, who hold to these ethics of empathy, care, respect for men, right? A willingness to do things that men like, a willingness to work to make a man's way straighter or his life easier, or to do something beneficial for him. The women that I've seen that do this, I have not seen any indication that they have been forced to act this way, right? That they're being coerced in some sort of way. As a matter of fact, one of the indictments that is laid upon these women by their so-called sisters, their competitors, is that they are choosing to do these things. That's actually an indictment upon them, that they're that of all the behaviors and ethics and morals and moralities, mores that they could accept, they're choosing to accept what they're calling this outdated, harmful mode of interaction with men. But these sisters are choosing these behaviors, choosing this ethic willingly, right? When these women attract mates, they're attracting mates based off of how they've positioned themselves in the marketplace. And so when a man selects her, he knows that he's getting a woman who will clean for him, who will cook for him, who will maybe wash his clothes for him, or help him to do these things, or clean the house for him, or not badmouth him or disrespect him in public, or things like that, right? He knows what he's getting. And she's willing to perform these acts or to hold these ideals as a part of her part of the interaction. It's a part of her contract with this male. I've seen no indications whatsoever that there's coercion or force, especially nowadays when to even breathe wrong around a motherfucking woman to get your ass locked up, right? There's no dudes out here just gorilla pimping on women and saying, bitch, you gonna clean my house or I'm gonna fuck you. That's not how it's going down. I don't give a damn what anybody tries to say. Dudes ain't operating like that. There's no way you can operate like that when to smack a black woman or to raise your voice at a black woman could be a death sentence for you. We gotta think that there's no coercion going on here. If these sisters are choosing to express certain behaviors or embrace a certain ethic that they think will be more likely to make them attractive to a man, they're doing this willingly. There's nobody there with a stick telling them that they're going to act this way. Now, before I continue, we really need to look at, like I said, the underlying premises behind the assignment of this pejorative to certain of our sisters, right, by so-called certain sisters of theirs. The first idea behind the entitling of someone as a pick-me is that, and this is assuming that the person that's making the assignment of this title to them is kind of coming at it from, I would say, a charitable point of view, right? Not necessarily good, but charitable. The first idea or first premise is that a woman who practices these pick-me behaviors or embraces a pick-me ethic is doing herself a harm, right? That she's somehow lessening herself, right? That she is belittling herself. She is putting herself at risk. She is making herself vulnerable in some way by embracing this ethic or practicing these behaviors. So let's look at that. Let's look at that. Supposedly, a pick-me or a woman who has been labeled as a pick-me is somebody that is doing an injustice to herself. She's running the risk of lessening her own self-esteem, right? She's putting herself into a position of vulnerability or weakness to a man if she does find a man practicing these behaviors or holding these ethics and so on and so forth. Now, I'm saying that this premise is the one that a sister will claim to hold if she's being charitable. And I don't say if she's being benevolent, because understand, at the end of the day, the appellation applied to the sisters that are choosing to express these behaviors or embrace this ethic is not beneficial. They're not applying this term to you because they're concerned about you. At least concerned in that they care about you or they're worried about you. No, they're definitely concerned about you. And don't worry, because we'll actually get into that later on in this broadcast. They are definitely concerned about the sisters that they're labeling as pick-me's. But it has nothing to do with actual care and concern for them. But if they're being charitable, they will try and point out that they are putting themselves in a deleterious or negative situation by acting in a way that is attractive to men, right? They'll say things like, don't you know that a man who sees you act like that will think that you're desperate and will use your desperation to hurt you, right? They'll say things like, if you do all of this stuff for him, right? What makes you think that he's just going to reciprocate for you, right? So questioning the type of man that she's likely to pick up by embracing the ideals behind the so-called pick me, and so on, right? So the first premise that these women, these females have in their head when they label a sister a pick me is that if they're being charitable, they believe that she is doing some wrong to herself. Okay? But we can shoot this idea down immediately by just simply looking at the nature of the interactions that the sisters labeled as poor me have with men. There's a sister that I follow, and if you haven't followed or messed with me on social media, on Facebook at, Mark Black 1831, and at Twitter at Mark Black 1831, you what the fuck are you doing, right? You tripping, because I know your ass is on social media. So there's a sister I follow on Facebook. I'll just drop her first name, right? But you can see, if you follow me, you can see some of her stuff on my timeline, right? The sister named Nicole, beautiful sister, who does videos where she talks about femininity. But she talks about femininity in a way that I think is engaging. If I was a female, this would be engaging to me, because she talks about it in the sense of leveling up, right? Of getting your game up as a female, of showing you how utilizing your feminine traits, your softness, your soft power, if you will, not only makes you more attractive to a man, but actually increases your personal power in general, right? Dope sister. But this sister gets more flack than a motherfucker from other black women on Facebook. She gets called mammy, pick me, you name it. Now, when this sister replies to these other females, right, to these females, she tells them, I was in a long-term marriage and relationship for 20 years, right? She's a widow, right? She said, my man was always faithful, dedicated, worked hard for me, supported me, did everything for me. Peace, Miss Denny. Welcome to the broadcast, by the way. I saw you pop in there. I just didn't say anything, but peace. And by the way, thank you again. I want to shout you out for the topic, for the idea for the broadcast today. She herself says, no, I am the way I am because it benefits me. It does not lessen me to do things for my man. It benefits me. And yet, most of the females that are denigrating her or shooting her down, just keeping it a buck, them bitches is single. So she's been married, was in a long-term happy marriage for 20 goddamn years. So she knows of which she speaks. Yet, strangely enough, the ones who are just heaping on the salt and labeling her with this title of pick me, they ain't got nobody. And what's worse is they are proud about the fact they ain't got nobody. I don't need no nigga, especially if I gotta cook for that motherfucker or do something for, right? So here she is saying, ladies, if you're interested in finding out what makes a man attractive to you, right? Here's some behaviors and ideas and mores that I know work, that are not only great ideas for yourself and your life, but can make the future mate that you attract's life better, right? This sister is about enhancing her life as well as the life of any dude that she comes across. And that's a fucking problem. That's a problem. Let me repeat that. She's not only about enhancing what is good and best in her life, but she is all about enhancing the good and the the beneficial ideas and ethics and things like that that makes her potential mate's life better too. And that right there is the problem. That right there is the main problem behind why these salty bitches are going around labeling people with this label of pick me. Because see, if it was just game, right? In other words, if pick me was just another tactic that women were pulling today to draw you in, and then like Lucy with the football and Charlie Brown yanking it out of the way, they wouldn't have a problem with the whole idea of pick me, because then it wouldn't be a way of life. It would just be a stratagem, another motherfucking manipulation that they can use to try to get what they want from males, from men, right? These women that are complaining about these other sisters and calling them names like pick me would not have a problem if the women who were labeled as such was just simply saying, but hey, I don't really think like this. This is just game. This is just me running game. You know, like this is my tactic. You know, this is me playing spider trying to entrap the fly. They wouldn't have no fucking problem with pick me. No problem whatsoever. But these women who they labeled as such are not doing that. They're keeping it real. They're saying this isn't just an affectation. This isn't something you just put on and take off when it's convenient for you. This is a way of life that's beneficial to both yourself as well as your mate or your future mate that you attract. And that's where the problem comes in. That's where the problem comes in. By the way, family, if you are watching live, please let us know. Pop in the chat. You don't have to participate. You don't have to say anything. It's okay if you just listen, but we want to know you're here. Pop in and say hello. Peace to everybody who's watching live on this broadcast. Please let us know you're here. Family, stop me at any point where I'm wrong. We haven't clearly established that a woman who embraces the ethos, the ideas that being feminine, that being submissive, that exercising soft power is in any way deleterious to herself. As a matter of fact, the women who tend to embrace this ethic, who practice these behaviors, will tell you, peace, Shay, welcome to the broadcast. Thanks for popping in. They will tell you themselves that they are practicing a way of life that they have found to not only be beneficial for themselves, but beneficial for their mate or their future mate. So we can immediately discard that premise that she's doing herself a harm. Okay? We could just throw that out. Because there has been no evidence whatsoever that they've established that practicing the behaviors that label or that tend to have these women label them, these other women, as pick me. We have not established that there's been any harm done to that woman, not by a long shot. The women who embrace this are telling you themselves they embrace it because it's beneficial, that they do not believe that they are being harmed by the practice of femininity, of softness, of doing work for on behalf of their mate, being in service to, right? They don't find anything harmful or deleterious about it. So what else then is there? What else is there then that they think that they can hang their hat on to try to demonstrate that the women that they label as pick-me's are bad, right? That they're doing something bad. The only other idea that they can embrace then is that somehow or another, a woman that they label as pick-me is doing harm to women in general. This is the premise that they display or that they express when they're not being charitable, right? The first one is pretending to care about the sisters, right? It's saying, sister, you don't have to live like this. It's rather, what men would call paternalistic, right? Acting like a parental figure for these wayward, misguided sisters, right? But when they're not being charitable, the idea behind labeling a woman as a pick me is the fact that they are doing harm to all women. They're doing harm to women in general. That their ideas, their beliefs, their practices, their ethics is causing problems for all women. I watched a broadcast on Madame Noir's YouTube channel because I don't go to their fucking website. I can't stand too much drivel all at once, right? There's these three females who do a show called Listen to Black Women. I popped a link to that broadcast in the description field of this video. Please, when you get a chance, if you can stand it, go check it out. But this broadcast was them discussing, is pick me culture killing women's self-esteem, right? So in other words, these females were trying to indicate, or at least they were trying to argue during their broadcast, that these women that they have labeled as pick me are destroying women's self-esteem in general. That it's not enough that she might be causing herself some sort of harm, which has not been established at all, but she's harming women in general by lowering their self-esteem. Before we can address their specific question, we need to define some fucking terms, all right? We need to define some goddamn terms. First of all, what is self-esteem? Well, self-esteem is the general sense of value and well-being one holds for oneself. Would you not agree? I think that's a pretty good working definition for self-esteem. It is the general goodwill that one holds for oneself. All right. Now, what is it that increases one's esteem for oneself? Because isn't that kind of like the underlying question when you say shit like this, when you say that is being a pick-me dangerous for women's self-esteem, right? If this is dangerous for self-esteem, then we have to have some basis for determining how self-esteem is regulated, either up-ticked or down-ticked, right? So, what are some things that increase self-esteem? I'll leave y'all to answer that yourselves, but I do have some ideas as to what increases self-esteem. I argue that self-esteem or confidence in oneself is directly proportional to one's competence, right? So confidence, C-O-N-F-I-D-E-N-C-E, is increased by one's competence, C-O-M-P-E-T-E-N-C-E, competence, right? That to the extent one is able to live the life of their choice, right, effectively, then they increase their confidence, which in turn increases their self-esteem. Would you not agree? Right? Okay. So explain to me how a woman who values herself enough that she will not only tailor her appearance, but tailor her ethics, tailor her morals, tailor her whole approach to ensure that she not only benefits herself, but also benefits any future or potential mate that she might have. How in the hell is she decreasing her self-esteem? Make it make sense to me, family. A woman who is strong enough, who is confident enough, who is competent enough to understand that there is certain ways, mores, actions, ideas, beliefs that will make it more conducive to her having stable, long-term relationships with the males of her ethnic group. How, in what way is she decreasing her self-esteem? How? Makes no fucking sense to me. I would argue that any woman who was smart enough, introspective enough, wise enough to understand that if she wants to walk a certain path and have certain individuals when she walks that path alongside of her, that she is going to have to act in certain ways, think in certain ways, be certain ways. Because I, as a male, if I want to have certain individuals in my life, I have to act in certain ways and think in certain ways and be certain ways. So it's okay then, I suppose, that women can just do whatever, be however, act however, and still get the goods, but men can't. Because remember, I did this in a couple of broadcasts ago. One of the problems is that women's roles have had an opportunity to change under this fucking feminist milieu we live under, but male roles have not. We are still being held to the same so-called manhood standard that we always have been. We have no flex, no give. But women can be anything, literally, do anything, literally, and it's cool. And that's a fucking problem. You know, I'm just going to come out and say it. And I'm certain I'm going to alienate somebody. But like I said, I don't give a fuck. Bitches who apply this appellation to other women are doing nothing more than sour graping. I said it. They just crying sour grapes. Because like I said, every single woman that I know that respects her man, that actually gives a damn about how her man feels, who does things in service to her man, who makes her man's life easier, who works to help make her man's life straight. Every single one of them I met is happier than a motherfucker. They not one of these bitter ass motherfuckers complaining about how men ain't shit, men ain't shit, men ain't shit, constantly 24/7 on every fucking platform they can find. These women are too busy. They ain't got all the time on their hands to be sitting there complaining. They doing work. They are productive. And they are happy as a motherfucker while they do it. So let me get this straight. A woman who's a pick-me, got a man that she's happy with, usually has a family, usually is taken care of, treated like good as gold, because I'm telling you as a male, from a male perspective, let me have a woman who cares about my needs, who's concerned about what makes me happy and what makes me feel good, and I will jump in front of an atomic bomb if I need to save her life. There's nothing she has to ask me for. I will wake up on the motherfucking daily trying to think of good shit to do for her. She won't have to tell me what she needs. I will be looking, seeking out ways to put a smile on that motherfucking face of hers. So, if you ain't got it like that, but some woman you labeling as a pick-me got it like that, then bitch, you need to ask yourself some hard motherfucking questions now, don't you? It ain't that sister who's so-called pick-me the one that has to check herself. You need to ask yourself some hard motherfucking questions. Because these same women who will decry a sister who shows care and concern, who does things to make her man's life easier, that makes him happy, that increases his happy, his joy, his pleasure in being with her and being alive, right? These same women is getting smashed and dashed on. Yeah, I said it. They sit here and complain that men won't commit to them, that we don't want to have nothing to do with them, that we lay up and run around and just make baby mamas all over the place, when they don't even realize that there's probably a good reason behind that. There's probably a reason behind the fact that we ain't staying. I can tell you for a fact, no man wants to be with a bitch who ain't nothing but a man with titties. I don't want to have to be competing with my woman. Call me misogynist, call me whatever the fuck you want. I don't care. I don't want to have to be sitting here having conflict and competition with you, and I'm supposed to be with you. Fuck that. I could be by my goddamn self and be miserable with less stress, less headaches, less pain, less suffering, more money, more time, more freedom. See, the problem is that a lot of dudes ain't keeping it a buck. They're not keeping it straight with y'all. But I'm Mark Black. I don't have nothing to lose by keeping it real. Nothing at all. The fact is that these women who are labeled as pick-me's have understood something that the bitter bitch brigade hasn't. And that is that in a relationship, there is two people involved, not just a queen bee and her fucking drone. She has realized that her happiness can only be increased to the extent that she ties her happiness to the people that she's relating to. Otherwise, she could just be by herself. The sisters that have been labeled as pick-me's are the ones that have finally twigged that, wait a minute. I think I've been sold a bill of goods here. I cook my man something to eat and I do it with a smile on my face. I kiss his face and tell him I love him. And me and him sit there and we fold clothes together. Right? And I swept and vacuumed the floor for him. And when I see him, I always try to have a smile for him and to dress up nice to make him look good, to make him feel good about being with me. And that shit feels good to me. Oh, no. No, the bitter bitch brigade don't want her saying that. That's why they saying that she's harming women in general, because they don't want the women who have finally understood that there is a strength, a might, a power in actually giving a damn about the black man too. They don't want, no. Remember, they have a vested interest at this point at the diminishing and the disappearance of the black man. They don't want anything that might possibly be a benefit to us. Why? Because they're in competition with us. For them, their uplift as women, as black women, is a zero-sum game. The only way they can gain any degree of uplift is to it's directly proportional to the diminishment, the disappearance of me, the denial of me resources, love, care, kindness, empathy, compassion, concern. The only way they can have that is to make sure I don't have it. And the so-called pick-me sister puts the lie to their bullshit. Miss Diddy said that from listening to my parents and how I've seen marriages go in the Latin community, this is how it's done. Couples work together for the betterment of the family. Facts. I'm just going to tell it straight. I done been around a lot of Latinos, okay? You know, se habla español un poquito, right? I speak a little Spanish. I done been around Latino folks a lot. And I'm going to tell you that in the Latin communities, women consider themselves deficient if they man have to do anything around the house. It don't matter if they have external jobs or not. It don't matter if she might go work in an office for 8 hours a day or whatever and come home. If she come home and her man has to lift a finger at the house, she considers it a personal fucking affront. And not only that, but if her boys, her sons, her grandsons choose women that won't do anything for them, she goes the fuck off. She questions their manhood. It's called machismo. And it's cultural. It is cultural. I used to tease my Latino homies. I said, damn, man, y'all can't even breathe without y'all's women, can you? And it was like, Simone. Yeah. Because they knew that without the efforts of their women, they couldn't be men. They recognized what was being done for them with gratitude, with the willingness to go out there and kill motherfuckers in the defense of their women. But that shit's considered bass backwards. That's considered old school ass pre-feminist thought. Because like I said, we done bought into this whole feminist bullshit lock, stock, and barrel. Strangely enough, though, everybody else's man is still prospering except the black man. Everybody else's man is still getting it. But y'all bitter bitch brigade, the die-hard black feminists out there, the ones who point at sisters like Sister Shar, Sister Shay, Sister Denny, and say, oh, y'all care about black men? You actually want to do something to make a black man's life a little better? To put a smile on that nigga's face? Bitch, you stupid. You ruining it. You fuxing it up for us. We finally got this black woman shit the way we likes it, and now you fucking it up. Talking about dressing up nice for this nigga and cooking him something to eat. Bitch, what's wrong with you? You about to mess it up for everybody. Tell the truth and shame the devils. Sister Shay said, I've been married almost 10 years, and because I've been raised in a single parent household, I had to learn how to be a proper wife from my husband. And yeah, it takes humility, but it's worth it. Sister Shay, tell the bitter bitch brigade how good you got it. Tell them how your man will literally die to make you happy and to take care of you and to take care of any offspring you have. Tell them how you not sitting at home stressing, wondering where your man is and who he's out with and what he's doing. Because you know you have your shit secure. Tell them. See, the problem is they don't want you sisters speaking out about how good you living. Because it puts the lie to their bullshit. It puts the lie to their bullshit. Because here's something to note. The fact that they getting smashed and dashed on, right? Because let's keep it a buck. Men gonna be men. I'm sorry to bust y'all's bubble. But men are going to be men. Our natural tendency is that we want to chase. Now, you can sit here and bitch and complain about the fact that because feminism fucked our whole community up, that the roles have been reversed, and now women are having to play the sexual pursuers and men be the sexual selectors. Don't bitch at me about that. I didn't raise us. Because we don't talk about the fact that there's a sick-ass psychopathology in our culture that hardly exists anywhere else. The psychopathology of the role reversal. We got men who have to act like women, and we have women who act like men. And I'm not talking about effeminization or whatever. What I'm talking about is that women have taken on the dominant role and have emasculated men. Any man who expresses a masculine role role is publicly shamed and deballed and emasculated and told he's toxic. But the same behaviors you decry in us, you've picked up. So you forced a role reversal. Whereas before, there was no such thing as a pick me because it was women who were doing the picking. We men had to have our game straight. If we wanted you, we had to pursue you. And we couldn't just come any old kind of way. We had to come correct. Because you were the one who was the sexual selector. Well, thank you to feminism and this bullshit psychopathology that's caused a complete role reversal in our community. Now you motherfuckers is having to pursue us, and we get to be the one that's the sexual selectors. That's the real reason why you resent these sisters that are pick-me's. Because they expose your hypocrisy. They expose the hypocrisy that you have when you try and deny men the right to define what we perceive as feminine, while you get to define still what's perceived as masculine. They put the lie to the fact that you getting smashed and dashed on, but there's no way that there can be any harmonious relationships between black men and black women. The so-called pick-me sister puts the lie to your bullshit that we're at war with each other. She puts the lie to that. Every single woman that has a harmonious relationship with a black man puts the lie to these bitter bitches that's saying that we at war with each other. That we can't have peace amongst us, that the gender war is eternal moving forward, that the only way they rise is if black men fall. I want to give a shout out to all of you sisters out there, you long-suffering, beautiful, joyful, kindly motherfuckers who having to put up with this bullshit from these motherfucking, like my man, Angry Man calls them bundle skunks. The bitter bitch brigade. Shay said that's because real men don't take crap and black women like not being held accountable. All the talking over people and yelling is not accepted or allowed with real men. Facts. Facts. And tell me this. Because you could tell that something's off with these females' logic. Because last time I checked, well, okay, I better not say that. I was going to say last time I checked, they cooking and cleaning for they selfish shit anyway, but I done been in enough nasty ass bitches' houses to know that might not necessarily be the case in 2018. So I'm going to withdraw that statement. Maybe y'all don't want to have to do it for a man because y'all not really doing it at all anyway. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. There's a lie. Look, I'm going to tell it like a T.I. is. I'm keeping it all the way funky. I done walked into enough sisters' house that's nasty than a motherfucker to know that the reason, part of the reason why y'all don't want to fucking do it is because y'all ain't even doing it for yourself. Bitter bitches who can't, like Shay said, who can't even boil an egg. You know what? It's a shame that I, as a black male, can change baby diapers better, cook better, wash clothes better, keep house better than most of the sisters that I've been with. No bullshit. I actually trained to be a chef, so I know my way around the kitchen. I cook meals in my house every day. I won't even let my woman cook because I cook better and I like the shit out of my food. So I don't know where the bitter bitch brigade is getting off thinking that if a sister actually wants to do something, like clean up a house, like vacuum a floor, like wash some clothes, that a man's just gonna lay around and be like, yeah, I finally got this relationship shit the way I likes it. No. We action oriented. If I see my woman folding clothes, I'm gonna go over and fold clothes with her. Shit, if nothing else, just to have some time to sit there and converse with her. Those are some of my funnest times when I can help do chores in my house with my woman. I enjoy that shit. She washing the dishes, I'm putting the ones in the dishwasher away. She cleaning off the table, I'm vacuuming the floor. It ain't like nowadays we on some old Neanderthal shit. Most of the niggas out here do it better than you bitter bitches anyway. Truth be told. Truth be told. Let's keep it all the way funky. Most of the dudes out here can fix brakes on a car and then come in and change the baby diaper. Hell, I'm at the point where I think the only thing that men can't do that women do is give birth and breastfeed. Because I done everything else. I'm a dad of 2 bio kids and a stepdad to 2. I done everything for kids. I done everything around the house. I don't need a woman for that. But damn, it sure is nice if I got a woman who's interested in doing that. It sure in the fuck is nice if I got a woman who's interested in actually being kind to me. Who's saying, damn, baby, you know what? Don't worry about the dishes. I got them. Don't worry about the laundry. I took care of it. Shay said, if men see that there are black women out there actually doing what they're supposed to, it puts pressure on the other women to worry about more than money, media, and makeup. And that right there, ladies and gentlemen, is where the mic should drop. Because Shay just told on you motherfuckers. Shay just told on you motherfuckers. If it gets out that a brother actually can find a sister who will live in peace with him, who actually is empathetic to him, who is concerned about what he thinks and how he feels and how he views her, who looks to lift him up as well as herself, that's real strength. All you motherfuckers talk about being strong and independent. You want to know what real strength is? In my humble opinion, real strength is being able to maintain your own self-esteem and assist your brother in lifting his esteem for himself. Where do we get this thing where it's all about you? That every bit of the relationship got to be about you. That we got to be concerned 24/7 with what you thinking and how you feeling and what you on. When the fuck did that become a part of the game? Because I can tell you for a certainty, that as a black man at this point, and I am a man, I wouldn't tolerate 90% of these bitches out here for 5 minutes. Not for 5. The moment I realized that I couldn't have a decent conversation with them, the moment I would understand that she was willing to disrespect me out in public, and question me on every motherfucking thing and push back on every little thing I might suggest or refuse to even consider what I might be thinking or how I'm feeling, I'll be done. I might smash. I still got needs. I'm getting older, but I'm not old, if you know what I'm saying. I'm old, but I ain't dead. So if she relatively decent, I might smash. But if she think I'm wifing her, if she think that I'm going to stick with her in a long-term relationship, if she think that I'm going to believe in her, she's dumb as fuck. Because there's no way in hell. Nuh-uh, not me. But really, family, pick me really means pick me too. Because these bitter bitches are hoping that they can still get picked on the same bullshit they been on. And it ain't happening. It's not happening. I can tell you, ladies, you look at all these brothers that you say are bashing you, right? Cats like my man, Angry Man. Brothers like O'Shea, BGS, Cerulean, and so on and so forth. You say we bashing you because we love you enough to critique your bullshit. But the thing is, we're not bashing you. We just teaching our brothers that we don't have to put up with the bullshit that y'all keep laying down. We don't have to accept that. We never really did. Because part of this is on us. We don't tell y'all the truth of matters. Right? We've been too busy caping. We've been too busy trying to cater to you instead of giving you the straight dope. and the straight dope is that the vast majority of you is sometimes worth smashing, sometimes, and the rest of the time, it's better to not even think about you. And it's not because we don't want to think about you. It's not because we hate you. But it's truly because at this point, you bring nothing to the table that any man would ever even want in his life. I'm telling you from a brother's perspective. You can disregard it if you want. Y'all used to disregarding men anyway, so what the fuck does it matter if I tell you the straight dope? But most of y'all ain't bringing shit that I would want to even pursue, let alone pursue long term. Shay said every woman wants a good man but doesn't want to bring a good woman to the table. Don't expect steak if you acting like spam. Wait a minute, Shay. Here's the crazy part. The only thing that these motherfuckers consider good nowadays is a man who's gonna be they reparations. That's all. They don't care about your ability to converse with them and to share ideas with them. They don't care about your ability to be somewhat emotionally sensitive and to touch their hearts just like they touch yours, right? They don't care about your ability to be able to be a good example of leadership and positivity to the children that y'all might bear. The only thing they want from you is bread and for you to shut the fuck up. And not necessarily in that order. They want to be able to run amok, go nuts, have it all their own way, say what they like, think like how they like, act how they like, do what they like. And you supposed to foot the bill for that shit. Shay said, we've been fooled to think that bringing something to the table equals our looks and money, but it's about your ability to love and respect one another, to be a partner in every way. From your lips, sister. You feel me? These simple bitches is making it over fucking complicated. The black man's been the same black man that you always have had. Some of us is good. Some of us not so good. But the majority of us is the same brothers we always been. If you back us, we'll back you. If you believe in us, we'll believe in you. If you support us, we'll support you. If you love on us, we will love you deep and strong and long. We ain't changed. It's you motherfuckers that changed. There's no brother out here. No brother out here that gives a fuck about your resume. Why is it the first thing I gotta hear when I go out on a date with a sister back when I was dating was, oh, I work here and I graduated from here. Like I was sitting at a job interview across the table from a dude. And I'm thinking to myself, like, bitch, I don't care about your resume. Like, I don't give a fuck where you work. I don't care what your GPA was in college. Maybe peripherally, once I get to know you, I might care about some shit like that. But what I'm trying to figure out right now, while we sitting across from this table from each other, is what potential do I have to be able to relate to this motherfucker? How can I enhance her happy and her enhance mine? What type of pleasure can I give this motherfucker? And what type of pleasure should I expect from this motherfucker? But see, you simple bitches think that men don't think like that. That we don't think that the only head we think with is the one between our legs. Right? That we're not looking at you as mate material by looking at what you got on the inside, what you got going on internally. You're going to be the mother of my children potentially. You think I'm not curious about what the fuck you got going on in your head? Please. The moment I find out that you an empty-headed dunce, I just sigh in disappointment, and I wonder how the night's gonna end. If I'm feeling froggy, I can probably smash depending on how I talk, how much of a check I pay for at the table. You know, gotta pay your hoes when you take them out. But I sigh in disappointment at yet another bitch that ain't worth me wasting my time, effort, and energy on, risking my life for. Another one who thought that this was a job interview rather than an opportunity to show off just who and what she is. There's some serious psychopathology going on with these women that want to label other sisters pick me's. Because these pick me women, the ones that they're labeling as pick me's, show their hypocrisy and puts the lie to everything they are. Shay said, looking at superficial values is why when people smash and have kids, they clash. They always had a difference in values but didn't know it. Oh. Shay, I could go on all day long about some of the dysfunctional ass crazy shit that happens from some of the most basic choices that people who are claiming to be adults should be making. Y'all out here having kids with motherfuckers, and you don't even know how your dude feels ethically or morally about anything. Because you haven't ever even cared enough to ask him what his ethics are. What's his moral base? What's his moral compass, and where is it derived from? How the brother feels about, say, politics or economics or religion, right? About education, about entertainment. You know, the areas of fucking people activity that people live in, that human beings lived in. You don't even see the nigga as a human being, and then you wonder why you don't get a human being in return. Because let's face facts. What they say is a difference in values is truly that. It's a difference in value, in what one puts weight on as opposed to the other one. What one gives more credence to than the other one. Definitely a difference in values. And that primarily comes from the fact that ain't nobody seeing that a black man has anything of value these days. By the discounting, the diminishing, and the disappearance of your men, you don't know how to fucking interact with us. You don't know how to talk to us. You don't know how to think about us. You don't know how to feel about us. And then you wonder why you get what you get. Anybody that acts in ignorance is going to reap ignorant ass situations. Anybody that acts in ignorance is going to reap ignorant fucking situations. How the fuck you claim that you're out here trying to choose me or whatever the case may be, since women can't, be the sexual, pursuers now, right? Because, pick me is women saying, no, I would like to be chosen for a change. No, I would like to have someone pursue me. I would like someone to see my value like I see my value, and I would like a man of quality to come after me like men are supposed to fucking do. Y'all don't want that. So, now that you're the pursuer, bitch, don't be surprised if I don't fucking choose you. Since you flipped the script, since feminism told you you was free, since the only way you get a come up is to make sure that I don't, go ahead. Pursue me. And then sit back and wonder why I don't choose you. Maybe if your ass wonder long enough, you might figure it out. Because God knows you ain't going to actually go talk to no man and ask, why aren't men staying with me? Because that would make your ass desperate, thirsty. That would make you a poor me, right? To actually inquire with a man, what is it that you would like from me, brother? And not on no shady shit, not no low-key bullshit, psychological manipulation, shade type shit, but with the actual genuine willingness to understand what he might want from you. And actually be willing to listen, like you would to any human being. Shay said, and it's possibly generational. Those who didn't see a positive male-female relationship in the home growing up don't know why to respect men. All they saw were men going in and out of the door. So, Shay, as you well know, I usually during my broadcast tell y'all one situation in my life, right? A life story that brings home the point of what it is that I'm discussing. So here, I think it's time for me to share that story. There is a man that I consider to be my father. I esteem him in a way that words can't really express. I literally worship the ground this man walks on. When I see manhood, masculinity, right? When I see power, when I see what type of man I want to be, I see his face. I'm going to call him Terry, right? Because I don't want to throw his name out there. I'm going to call him Terry because the people that know me, that's like friends and family and shit, will know who I'm talking about. My daddy, Terry, I met when I was about 13 years old. Went to church with the brother. I never forget him. This man up in the choir stand with this booming ass tenor voice. Rich. Brother sounds like he's singing through a bowl of gravy. Okay? And tall. He's a little on the light skin side. Right? But I didn't care because I've been accused of being a little light-skinned my damn self, right? But tall, booming, powerful. I think I fell in love with this dude before my mother fell in love with him. Y'all feel me? My daddy. That man, that powerful. Ugh. Right? That man. You know what I'm talking about, family? That man. Every one of you who actually have a stable head on your shoulders have that man somewhere. He may not have been your actual biological. But there's that man, that one man who, when he speaks, it's like the thunderbolt of Zeus himself. All he has to do is give you a look and you in check. All he has to do is give you a smile and you're on cloud 9. That's who Terry is for me. When I met Terry, Terry was a stone alcoholic. Yep. And on top of that, even though him and my mom got together and were together for years, and I say years, like a decade and change, he was already married when he met and hooked up with my mother. Now, why is it that I don't see him, though, as this piece of crap, this cheating, vile piece of crap? I'll tell you why. Because my mother always was treated with respect by him. My sister and I were always treated like his children. When we needed checking, he checked us. When we needed loving, he loved us. I met his family, his children, with his other wife, with his wife, I should say. I really should say other wife because my mother, in some ways, is still like a wife to him. They still interact. They still have good interaction with each other. They still check on each other because they both getting up there in age. He's still married to his wife, but I know all of his children, and they're like brothers and sisters to me. We are family. And who tied us all together? Him. That's why I don't see him as a piece of crap. He took two separate families and made them one by his will, by his might, by his dictate, by his power, through his dignity, through his strength. And that's the truth of the matter. A lot of us have had and do have positive, strong male role models. The problem is that now you can disregard that nigga at a moment's notice. You don't have to listen to him. You don't have to hear him. You don't have to give a fuck about him. You don't have to do anything for him. Do you know why? Because the moment you get tired of him, the moment that he done finally got on your nerves, all you have to do is pick up the phone. He won't leave. He won't shut the fuck up. He's talking about smacking you in the mouth because you done disrespected him for the 9th time that motherfucking day, right? He's grumbling at you because your ass ain't touched nothing in the kitchen except to make yourself something to eat. And you don't like that shit? That's okay. Because all she has to do is pick up the phone. 911. She don't have to listen to you. She don't have to care what you think or how you feel. She don't have to concern herself with your anger, your outrage, your upset, your pain, and her disgusting bullshit ass behavior. Because if you don't like what she doing, she got another man on speed dial. And her other man packs a gun. And her other dude has a badge. And her other dude will come and make you shut the fuck up. And her other dude will come and kill you if only she cries loud enough. And that's the facts. That's the reality of the matter. That's why she won't fucking listen to you, because she don't have to. This is why no matter how strong a man is, she don't have to give a fuck. Because if she don't like you, she can have you killed. And she'll be seen as the victim. Girl, that's what you should have done in the first place, that no good ass nigga. Him putting his hands on you, pushing you around, telling you to shut the fuck up. Nah, girl, you was right to have the police come in there and take that nigga away. She don't have to listen to you. Because the vast majority of our sisters already got a man. They already spoken for. His name is Johnny Law, officer friendly. So she don't fucking need you. Except that bed gets real motherfucking cold because officer friendly, he'll come through and visit, but he won't stay. Them kids, they get hard as fuck to corral and take care of because officer friendly will come and whoop their ass, but he won't help you raise them. That house gets mighty cold because officer friendly will come there and handle business when you're under threat, but he ain't sticking around to make sure that everything else is going well. Shay said, don't trust a woman who would easily call the police on you. Shay, unfortunately, that means that the vast majority of women out here, we can't trust. Because it's not a matter of trying to pick which one won't call the police on you. The fact is, the bitch can. Now, this is me not saying that every woman out there will do this. But the vast majority of women don't think it's a problem that they can do this. And that in and of itself is a problem. It's just like I said in my video the other day. For most of us brothers these days, unfortunately, we sleeping with snakes. And you have to hope that you pick the 1 in 10 who won't bite your ass. Because all the rest of them will see you dead before they have to obey you, before they have to listen to you, before they have to concern themselves with what you think and how you feel and what you want in your household. They'll see you dead first. And really, they want to get picked, but they want their cake and have it too. They want you to pick them, but let them still indulge in their fuckery, in their bullshit. They still want you to let them fly around, or at least attempt to fly around, like my man call them flightless birds. They want to be free. Never having to evolve, never having to shift, to flex, to give, to maneuver, to match you. Nah, she stands alone. This big fucking flightless bird that don't have to bend, that don't have to change, that don't have to evolve, that has it all her own way, but demands that you give her everything and her give you nothing. She wants you to pick that. Shit. Not me. And not no man that I know. Not no man that I can influence. I hope there's more sisters out here that they end up calling pick-me's. I hope the sisters out here that they label as pick-me's start wearing that shit like a badge of honor. Sisters like my sister Lashid, who's got a good man and respects and submits to him and is glad to do it. Who practices every day soft power. Who understands her might. Who is not in competition with her dude, with her man, her husband. Because she got one, unlike 90% of these motherfuckers out here. So, sisters, solutions. There needs to be more of the women out here who actually give a damn about men. Speak up. My sister, Miss Denny, has a blog called The Black Honey Badger. And the Black Honey Badger is all about protecting, defending, supporting, and uplifting one of the quickly disappearing species on the planet Earth, the black man. And she hardly gets anybody to support her. So I'm going to shout it out today. I sure in the hell am. I'm popping the link to her blog right here in the channel. You need to go there and support your sister. Because your black men need protecting. They need uplift. They need defense. Don't let these bitter bitches, these bundle skunks, these pick-me-twos tell you that your men don't need you. We do need you. But we can't have you like we've been having you. We can't have you with disrespect, with rancor, with no consideration, no compassion, no empathy, no care, no kindness, no peace. We can't have you like that. We need you, but we can't have you, and we don't want you like that. So you gotta get on board with the uplift and the protection and the care and concern of your brothers, because it is the protection and uptake and care and concern for yourself to uplift and protect and care for your brothers. Another thing, another solution is that we men have to stop being afraid to tell women the truth of the matters. We have to stop catering to them. We have to stop caring over much about their fucking feelings. We have to tell them the straight dope. Not about them per se, but about us. Because moving forward, I can tell you for a certainty, there is no gender war between us. What there is that the ones who've been prosecuting the war are finally having to face the ones who are waking up to the fact that the war has been going on. Y'all won the gender war a long motherfucking time ago. It's just that we're waking up. The brothers waking up and saying, well, hold on, no, not no more. And Shay, I'm actually working with Miss Denny to be purchasing the actual domain and transfer her site over, right? She actually, though, is ranked and visible on Google. If you type in Black Honey Badger on Google, her blog will pull up. It's like the second result on Google, right? So she has gotten some search engine visibility. But what she need is visibility from eyeballs. What she need is people sharing her blog posts. What she need is people pumping up the website. So if we can do that, that's always beneficial. See, I'm not afraid of helping a sister rise. I'm not afraid of being the wind beneath my sister's wings. But I'm also tired as fuck of not having it be reciprocated. So family, I'm going to go ahead and end this one. But I want to say that I love y'all. And as always, I want to wish you love, peace, prosperity, and power. Real power to our people.